because I like to connect to everybody. And thank you for being present here today and being available to learn. We have quite a few people that are signed up, and I know everybody's running their businesses or they're busy. And I want to just make sure that if you are watching the replay, get through them quickly because we're not keeping them up as long as we usually do. I think my team already talked to you about Chicago. So nice to meet you, Rachel. We are having an in-person event in Chicago on June 1st. It is like nothing, no self-development event you've ever been to. And I fall asleep at these things. I sometimes can't even sit through them. And I'll tell you that not one person fell asleep at my event. And they actually didn't want it to end because they were getting upgrades and upgrades. Like what we're going to do today is going to be amazing. But when you get in person and being this frequency of the wealth of the upgrades of like having real time shifts, you'll see like a transformation, happening for you that you wouldn't be able to experience had you not gone and immersed yourself for one day. So, and it's one of those things that keeps on giving. So again, welcome to the Moneymaker Challenge. And today I want to really dive into, what does it mean to make money and where are we making money? Why aren't we making money? And I'm going to give you guys some homework to do because I really want you to go out there and make more money. And how many of you want to make more money? Drop in the chat. Do you want more money? I mean, I'm just curious because that's the first thing. A lot of people say they do, but when they have the ability to go make the money, guess what happens? Sometimes they don't actually go execute it, or they say, I want to make, $200,000 this month, but I go look inside their business and I'm like, so what are you doing to make that $200,000 a month? And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about the take home, what are we bringing home? And so for many people, how many of you have a brick and mortar business and how many of you have an online business? Drop below. Just drop it below in the chat. Do you have an online business? Do you have a brick and mortar business? Online. All right. I have easily made millions of dollars online in a quick amount of time. And I'll tell you why. It is not because I knew what I was doing, to be honest with you. I literally went and had to learn how to do this business. I'm a former attorney. I'm still an attorney, but I don't practice law anymore. And I had my own practice. So I already knew how to have a business in the real world and then bring it online. It was very different because the way we were advertising, how we were bringing more clients in, how we were doing things. And I really feel like the game changer for me on what I used to make in a year as a lawyer, I make in a month now doing this work that I'm doing. I believe that the way we make money is if we can make it faster and an easier pace, more will come to us. But many of us have been conditioned, and you can raise your hand and let me know that you've got to work really hard to make that money. Because if you don't work really hard to make that money, guess what? It came too easy. And when you have that mentality of it coming too easy, there all of a sudden will be something that will show up and then the money will go out at the same time. And you're like, wait, where did the money come in? Who's ever experienced that? Where they've made the money and then the money went out again, or they're like, they've been told that they have to work really hard, for this money. And if they didn't work really hard for it, then it wasn't earned, because suffering has always been associated with working hard. Now, a lot of things I'm going to say to you in these next 3 days, you're going to be like, this lady's full of shit, or she's like, what is she talking about? Or I might say things that trigger you and you're like, goes against all my beliefs that I've been told. But what I want you to do is just keep the most open mind that you possibly can, even if it's something that goes against, what you've been doing, what you've been believing, what you've been living. Because here's the thing, we don't know what we don't know. And I'm not saying that what I know is the most ultimate way, but I have a system and it works. And when a woman actually goes through that process, she has success. And a woman who's coachable and is willing to expand and not say that I know everything and be willing to see things in a different perspective, things change for her. And I'll tell you, many of us are already set in our ways a lot of the times, but I do believe when we step into self-development, we're trying to expand and see the world from a different view because we know there's something there that might be blocking the beliefs of what we might have. So mindset is imperative to accessing more wealth, and our emotions, our experiences. If we've had, any kind of not so great story about a money situation, that sometimes lives on every single day in us if we don't take care of it. If we don't resolve that, it'll come up in all of our decision-making processes. It'll come up in whether or not we're going to go take that risk, that investment, hire another associate, expand our business. We'll always be trying to protect ourselves from the thing that happened before. So, do any of you have something, an incident or an event that might have happened before that you're like, oh no, I shouldn't, that keeps creeping up on a daily basis? And maybe subconsciously you don't even realize that it's happening because it's happening on repeat every single day. Now, for the access of more money, I believe that when we are looking to bring a client into our space, we need to have a journey of where this client's going. And a lot of the times, people looking at the end result, well, I'm going to solve this, this, and this for them, or I'm going to create this for them, but they don't realize that there's other clients that they actually could be serving because they're not bringing them properly through an ascension system. And I feel like I have studied my client avatar. I do it daily, by the way. I understand my clients over and over again. And the mistake I think a lot of people make is this is what I'm going to do for you, as opposed to what do they actually want from us. And when we don't understand what they actually want from us or what they're looking to solve, what happens is that they're unable to we're unable to solve the issue for them because we're trying to tell them what we think they need as opposed to what they're telling us what they actually need. So understanding my clients, and my clients are high achieving women. These are women that are making millions of dollars, anywhere from millions of dollars to six figures a year. The majority of my ideal client is a woman who's making seven figures already. And I'll tell you why, because I know how to speak to her. I know exactly what she's going through. And one of the things that I have found with her is that since she's a high achiever, and you might identify with this, and just because you're not actually making that money yet, doesn't mean you don't have the potential or you don't have the mindset to create this wealth yet. So don't look at what's in your bank account in this moment and determine you're like, wait, I don't have a seven-figure business yet, so I'm not a seven-figure woman. I truly believe that I had to become a seven-figure woman before I had a seven-figure business. So stay with me on that. You guys got what I'm saying? So don't discount yourself and say, well, the money's not there, because this is what people do all the time. They determine that, well, they look at the actual results of what's happening right now and they're like, well, this is never going to happen for me. But listen, it happened for me and it happens for many other women. So I have a saying in my business, if she can, I can. So I want you to adopt that and expand yourself out into that belief. Now, not understanding your clients is really, really one of the biggest things that I feel like has been an impediment for many women to be making money, because they're creating something and they're not actually solving the issue for the client. And so for me, learning your client, like, and this is not just like, well, I know she's, and this is the mistake that people make. Well, her name's Sally. She lives in California. She has two daughters, okay, that's great. We know she's a mom and she has kids, and she lives in California. But what we need to know is what is Sally's biggest issues are. What is she going through? What can you solve for her? And every high achieving woman has a very specific thing about who she is. She is me in different places all over the world. She is a high performer. I know my clients so well, and she has money because she's successful. She's not going to be somebody out there without money. And a lot of the times, many of you are marketing to people who don't have the funds to invest in your programs because you yourself haven't upgraded your mindset or your capacity to create wealth. And so you're not attracting those types of clients to you. I mean, how many of you here would love a client that just said, yes, I want your offer, I'm sending the money over? Wouldn't that be blissful? Where they're not sitting there going, oh, I don't know if I can afford this. I'm not sure. I have to go shop around. This is, I'm telling you, this is the part that I think many miss, is that they don't really get into the psyche of actually the person who is there to make the purchase and saying, yes, I want to invest in you. Now, I just saw a post on Facebook and the woman made a post. I think she's from England. I'm not sure, but she's like, I am so over $50,000 months. People striving for that. I feel like my nervous system can't handle it. I don't want to have to work so hard to make $50,000 a month. And I was like, she's spewing this stuff out there, and there's people that are agreeing with her because she doesn't know how to make $50,000 easily. That's the problem. She only knows how to struggle to make 50,000 because she's still in the mindset of It has to be hard. I have to work hard. And so I get, if I went and looked in her business, I could probably see she's over delivering on, like when I say over delivering, she's giving too much to her clients to support the program that she's doing. She's undercharging probably. She doesn't have an ascension system in place. She probably doesn't have passive income. She probably doesn't have a system in place in her business. She doesn't know who her avatar is. She probably doesn't have a high ticket in her business. I can go through all of that and tell you that right now. How many of those how many of you identify with what I just said? These are important. So one gal said, I can barely make $5,000. She goes, the $5,000 a month I'm making right now is so hard. And I'm like, how are people living on $5,000 a month? Like if you're a mom and you have kids, if you're a student, you can live on, $1,500 a month. Let's just be real, but because you got ways to do things because mom's paying for everything, right? Or at least your house and your essentials. But I'm saying as a grown person, that's sorry, my landscaper is here. If you hear some stuff in the background, it always happens whenever I'm doing a live. It just that the lawn people are here. Actually, no, it's the someone else. It's the one of the other guys that do stuff in the lawn. But so if you hear any noise, I apologize. So here's the thing that you have to understand is that many people think that they have a business and they really don't yet. They don't have a system in place. They haven't figured out what their marketing is. They haven't figured out, a lot of the essential things. And so let's go. That's like the business aspect of it, right? Now, if we go to the mindset and the strategic and the energetics of it, why is this woman saying $50,000 a month is hard? Why does she believe that? Why does she believe making money is so hard? Do you all believe making money is hard? Because I think it's the easiest thing to do in the whole world. I feel like making money is one of the easiest things to do. Okay, good. So we've got people that don't. Okay, good. I want you to shift out of that if you think making money is hard because it's not. It's actually the easiest thing you could possibly do. If you have the right offer for your prospect, then you're going to be able to do this on repeat in a way of scaling it, growing it, and bringing people into your space, even with the brick and mortar. Brick and mortar, you have a different expenses than people online because you've got to pay for the building. You've got different expenses. Also, you can write off different expenses, when you have a brick and mortar. So you've got that, but you've got your lease that's going on in your space. And in the real world, charging people higher rates is sometimes not the easiest thing. But with brick and mortar, you're probably still exchanging time for money the way you're running your business. And you probably have to have a bigger team in person. And that's also can sometimes be one of the issues that you're not fully supported running your brick and mortar business or your online business. We'll get to support in a minute because the way that I feel that a woman can be highly successful in any of her businesses and online is to be very empowered leader as how she is conducting her business, how she is, supporting her team, how she is receiving support. And receiving is one of the hardest things for a very high performer, high achieving woman to do. Having a man, come support you is one of the things, or anybody, but especially a man, is one of the things that we push away the most. And many of the times we're emasculating the men around us because we're not allowing them to be men and for us to just be in our feminine power to receive. But we do that in our businesses sometimes too. I'm not telling you not be in your alpha power when you're running your business, but you need to have a balance on allowing yourself to be able to receive support from your team members and from the people that you've hired and trust that they're going to do the job so that you can step away from the business or that you don't have to micromanage all day long. You don't have to try and figure everything out because, I was talking to my nail guy and he's got a brick and mortar and he wants to do another location. And I said, you have not allowed this business to get to a place that you can step away from it. This business has to have you here managing all the time, watching what people are doing. You haven't hired the right people. It doesn't have the right vibe in here. I was telling him all the things that, I saw this business going, and I told him there's another business over there. There's no seat available, and you've got to make appointment weeks in advance to get in there. How are two businesses who are offering the same service, one is booming and one is suffering? It's got to be in the offer. It's got to be in the way that they're conducting it. It's got to be in the way that that guy who owns the one that's, highly successful, he's got a system in place of how people are coming in, how people are going out, how he's got a vibe in his place. He offers champagne to his people. He's playing really cool music in there. The women are fast and efficient. So does this resonate with what I'm talking about with you guys? And I know some of you have insurance companies in here that came from State Farm. And that's the same thing though. Like your business, if you look at two State Farm companies, you'll see agencies, you'll see why is one, producing more than the other. And it's got to be an internal thing, not so much so an external thing. How are you internally running your business? What kind of leadership are you in there? Are you really trusting your team to do the things for you when so you can go do the other things, right? What are the other things, Shamina? Enjoyment. You cannot always be on. And most people are in such a busy state, they don't know how to relax. They don't know how to trust. They don't know how to allow the business to just run. I'll tell you, my life right now, it is amazing. I'm going to Mexico next week and I'm taking a team member with me. We're going to go do some marketing next week, the week after. And, it's one of those things where I get to go pick up and I can go to California tonight if I wanted to. I can go do whatever I want. My business does not keep me tied or tethered to where I am. I can run this 3-day event and I still support my clients. It's one of the things of having flexibility and being able to release the control and the reins of how you run your business. But if you are constantly in the having to figure it out, micromanaging, not having systems to support you, it's going to be hard to make money the way you want to make it. So, how many of you are making at least $50,000 a month? And this is I'm talking about take home. And how many of you want to? I know there's some people in here. And how many want to make $100,000 a month? Just say me. And how hard do you think it is to make $100,000 a month? You just need to make $83,333,000 a month to make $1 million. Does that seem like a big feat for many of you? Why? Just out of curiosity, why does it feel like, gosh, that's so far? I'm telling you, I don't know if I could live on less than $1 million right now in my year. The way my life is set up, and I want to buy a G550, which is a jet. I'm out here trying to do some big things because if other people can, why can't I? So one of the things that I really start people at before I get into their workings of their business and what their systems are and who their clients are and how they're messaging and what their expenses are. Because I've seen people invest in things in their business that I'm like, what's the purpose of this? Why are you getting, you know, something like an advertising thing that your ideal client is not going to be watching it? Because sometimes it comes from ego. Sometimes it comes from a place of I need to fill something inside of me so that I can feel good about what I'm doing. But that $5 or $6 or $7,000 a month you're spending to get that hit, you could be using that money to put yourself in front of where your ideal clients would be, as opposed to investing into, an example. Someone just said to me, "You should go on Ty Lopez's podcast." I said, "Oh, I would go. If you connected it." He's like, "I think you got to pay to get on there." I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm going to pay to go on Ty Lopez's podcast." Because how many of you in here listen to Ty Lopez? Exactly. My ideal client is not listening to Ty Lopez. But if you want to put me on there, so just for the exposure and do it, sure. But I would never invest to go on Ty Lopez. Maybe Joe Rogan just because he's really big. But, aside from that, would my clients agree with what Joe Rogan's saying? No, probably not. Some things might be controversial with what he says. But a lot of the times, our business moves are being based upon the little us in us that needs to feel something, that we're doing things from an ego state. We're doing things that are money wise are not making sense. And guess what that does? It puts a strain on the business. And then you're like, well, why did I do this thing? And why did I commit to a year for it? Because you're proving something. You're proving to the world that you're still good enough. You're proving to the world, look at me, look how amazing I am. And yet There's other ways of doing it. So I believe when you start working with me, we get to the root of where the money mindsets are. We've got to figure out what's actually in play because you are the blueprint for your life and business. So I get in there. I want to figure out, why is it you have this business? Why do you want to do it? Is it just to make money, or is it to have impact into the world? Is it because you had a personal experience that made you go out there and create this business? Because this is my story, because I went through this transformation. I want everybody else to feel like what I do and have what I have. I want the world to experience this big shift in my life, which I'll talk about tomorrow. You got to figure out what that driving factor is. Because if you're coming from a desperate state of having to make more, you're really leading with the scarcity that's unresolved inside of you. And this is why it's sometimes a stress every month to try and make that money, or you're stressed out about money. I can tell you right now, I have zero money issues. I have zero money worries. I never worry about it. I was telling my team, wasn't telling my team yesterday? I think I was telling my team yesterday. I'm like, I'm not worried. I'm never worried about money. I am never worried about anything that, not, I'll back up. It's not that I don't worry. I'll have a concern and then I'll deal with it. It's one of the things that I know and trust that money is going to always be there to support me. I've done the deeper work to know that it will just show up. It's just how much of it I want it to show up for me is what I'm working on. Because having $1 million a month would be just perfect. So it's like, how much more can I access? And so some of you, the belief systems that you have are limiting how much money you can access every month. And you're taking that and you're putting that and transcribing it into your business. So the first things that I really want you guys to really think about before we move any further, if you had all the money in the world, what kind of life would you be living today? How would you be waking up? What would your life really look like? You got to start from the why of what you want more money for. What do you want to access and make more money for? If you don't have a place for that money to go, then guess what? The chances of it coming in on a rapid rate are low. First things I did was I had a vision. Vision is really important for me. And I feel like the strategic stuff that I teach, if you don't do this step first, it doesn't really matter because you don't know what you're doing with the money when it comes in. So for me, this is how I think about it. I wanted a G Wagon. I wanted to fly first class. I wanted to have $1 million in my bank account. I wanted to be able to hire and buy anything I wanted to do. I want to make sure my kids and I can go on a trip every month and we fly first class. I want to be able to pay for my kids' college education. I want to be able to take my mom and my whole family on trips. I wanted to do all the things. My daughter just had, I don't know if you guys are friends with me on Facebook or Instagram. She just went to her boyfriend's prom. And I'll tell you, I saw her. We went to this dress shop. And by the way, if you want to have another side business, go into prom dresses because these people are just raking it in. Um, but we went to this dress shop in Chicago and it was a whole system of how you had to book an appointment, get a ticket. You only have 45 minutes in the room. I mean, they were down to a system. And so I know they were doing well. And my little girl tried on the dresses and I saw the one. I was like, that's it. That's the dress. And then we went to check out. We paid for the alterations, and I was gonna pay for alterations, bought shoes there. It was $853. I had a moment, not gonna lie. I was like, this is almost as much as my wedding dress. My wedding dress was $1,000. I mean, that was 20 something years ago. And I thought that was a lot for a wedding dress at the time. And I'm sure brides are spending $20,000 on dresses now. But I had a moment, and I was like, wow, life has totally changed where I can just go drop my $853 on my daughter's, dress. That's not even her prom. It's her boyfriend's prom, but she's so in love with him and she wants to go with him. That's how times have changed where it didn't break my account. It didn't change anything for me. There was a time where I was like trying to transfer money from one account to another account to make sure things didn't bounce. And that wasn't too long ago. That's right after my divorce because I was starting all over again. And the things that I had to change about what was available to me was first me and get my mind straight and understand that I was that wealthy woman. I've created her. Thank you so much, everybody. She looked so gorgeous and she's so tiny. And I've been cooking at home every day because that's one of the things that my kids want me to do. And I was a bodybuilder for a long time, so I know how to meal prep. So my kids are like, wow, look at us. We have abs again. And and she's like, this dress zipped up so easily, and she's so tiny to begin with. And she goes to the gym all the time. But anyway, yeah, she's fantastic. She's just like me. She goes to the gym all the time. But both of them, they're dedicated to their, kids watch what you do. They don't listen to you. They watch what you do. And so, and they've been going to the gym with me since they were like 8 months old. So they've only known that life. Um, I digress. But but being able to buy a dress for my daughter, being able to say yes to so many things to my children has been one of the greatest, most amazing things. And it's not about spoiling them because I always have discussions on money about money with them to the point that it's probably more than other kids get discussions about money with my children. But I always want to explain to them, this is the value of something. This is the yes. They're both very, very, very giving children. They pay for everything. My son pays for all his girlfriend's dates. I said, she can pay for a couple. I go, it's not your money. She can pay for a couple. This is all mom's money here, right? So you want to be a man, you go make your money at your job in the summertime. You can use that to pay for your dates and stuff. But he's like, I don't want her to pay for anything. I want to take care of her, which I raised him to be a masculine man that way. He's a good provider. Again, another byproduct for the work that I do is that the men around you and the way that you are showing up in your feminine energy, the way you run your business in life, it leaks over to everybody and everything. So being able to do all those things with money has just been such a great enjoyment. I can go to Mac and drop $300 if I want to. I can go to, Whole Foods, drop $300 and get the best foods. I can live from a place of not letting money make the determination of how my decisions are done. I get to decide, and everything's always in an emotional aligned way. Have you guys read my book yet? If not, you guys should definitely go grab this book. The reason why I just mentioned that is because Unlocking the Quantum Woman. I was just recording my audiobook this weekend and I was reading it again, and going through it. And I'm like, gosh, this book is so good. Because I'm sitting here going, I'm going to go back and do these exercises in this book myself. And one of the things I really talk about is alignment. And if you have not gotten into alignment with how you're running your business in your life, it's probably because there's things that are resisting that alignment. Every decision I make now when it comes to wealth and money, it's all in alignment. It has to feel good. And the only way it can feel good is if my emotions are activated and I'm feeling powerful in my emotions. And one of the things that I teach about in a very deep way, and many of you are in my programs and you'll know this, is to master emotion is to be someone who is responsive and not reactive, and to be able to understand how you're feeling at any given time. And so for most people, and especially us women, we are very emotional, but when we run our businesses, we try to run them like men. And we try to shut down these emotions. And this is why we constantly are overdoing, overworking, because we've been programmed that's the way it is. And if you are the woman in the house that makes all the decisions, you're the one that plans all the vacations, you're the one that does everything. And I'm a single mom, so a lot of that is on me, is that you are not giving yourself an opportunity to tap into something that's so extraordinary that's sitting there waiting for you. This is the game changing thing I did to go to become a millionaire, was to tap into more of that feminine energy in my business, not just in my life, but in my business and the way I ran my business. I started making money like on repeat because I understood that the way that I was doing it before as an attorney, which was to hustle and grind all the time and to keep putting in, 16 hours a day or whatever it was crazy hours I was working, and still trying to be a mom and all these other things, it was just impossible. There was nothing left for me. There was nothing left inside of me to give and go to the gym every day and on the weekends go out with my friends and have a life and then plan a trip only once a year. Now I go on so many. It was just too much. It was just not enough. And there is a time and place for our healthy masculine to run our business. We've got to be strategic. We've got to be able to plan. Got to be able to perform and, deliver to our clients. But we also have to understand that delegation, having support, having systems in place, having ascensions is going to be the game changer for how you run your business. If you guys haven't read my Forbes article, I just was written up in Forbes recently. I talked the gal the journalist that did the article, she was so intrigued by my concept of receiving. And you all should take a look at that article and read it. But it was one of those things, it was such a high honor to have a whole article written by me on Forbes because I figured something out. And when you are able to understand that it's not just the making of the money, it's the capacity and the ability to receive the money is the game changer. And then having those desires lead is so important. There's so many different aspects of how I do things, right? And so I put the G Wagon down. And one of my things as a little tip, I put things, I got a lot of things on here. I put on my phone, how much I'm making a month. I'll put on here, my yacht, my jet. I had my G Wagon on there it was less than a year. And I had another Mercedes on there. And I said, I'm a millionaire. Every time I picked up my phone, this was a couple of years ago. This is what I had on there. I've had my car for almost 2 years now. And so let's say three and a half years ago, every time I picked up my phone, I was programming my subconscious to believe I'm a millionaire. I drive a G Wagon. There, instead of me looking at, you know, the cat and the dog I don't own because I'm allergic to both of them, or my children, which I see every day, I was putting something on the phone to program myself into the things that I want. Our subconscious is constantly being programmed every day. They're being programmed by our beliefs. They're being programmed by our limits. They're being programmed by our resistance. They're being programmed by our past experiences. They're being programmed by our society. They're being programmed by what we believe is possible to us. So if you don't have the thing that you want right now, I want you to adopt this belief system. It's because of you. Because when you can say that it's because of me, guess what? You have the power to change it. You have the power to go in there and do something different. You have the power to get to that next level. I am still an A-type high performer. And just the other day, someone said that to me, and I was just like, I still am, but I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I don't wake up at the crack of dawn. I wake up whenever I wake up, unless I'm getting a flight. I take my time getting out of my bed. I journal. I let my nervous system re-regulate for the day. I go do my morning stretches. I'll do my sit-ups. If I get a chance, I'll go work out of the gym. I don't do um, any meetings before 12 o'clock. This is how I conduct my life because I'm rich now. I can do that. And I designed the life of my dreams. That might not be for everybody else. People might still need to wake up, but that I feel is the masculine and that hustle in you. I don't do that anymore. I know that I need to wake up with ease to be in my power. And some people are like, I got the whole day done before 12 o'clock. Well, good for you. Do you want a medal? So being able to know that we are the issue is going to be the problem solving, right? So I want you to really go big on why you want to make more money. What is it about making more money? Really, really go bigger, 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 bigger on why you want to make more money. Is it because you want to wake up whenever you want to without an alarm? Is it because you want to buy your designer car or the dream car? Can you hold on for 1 second, please? My son is homesick from school. 1 second. Poor thing. He never gets sick and he had a headache. I'm so sorry. I'm always mommy first. We see, this is like I know what my life has created. And I'm pretty unapologetic about it. My kids are my world. And yeah, it's one of those things where sorry, for that. But one of the things I really want you to do is figure out where you want to put the money. Because the desires of what you want is going to be the energetic connection to bringing them in. So my desire to fly first class or to drive a G-Wagon or to have this life, buying my Cartier bracelets, being able to do whatever I want with my wealth, knowing that more of it would come back it was such a game changer for me. So I'm going to give you an example. My G Wagon was about $300,000. It was $295,000. I, at the time when I went to go purchase it, there was nothing, you can't buy it. And they were back ordered. And, or when I wanted to buy one, but I would go online every day and I would design it. I would go online and I would go to Mercedes Benz and I would put the extra things on that I wanted because I wasn't going to get like a regular one. I was going to get the G63. I wanted the best, the fastest. And guess what? Is very fast. And so, and I didn't know if I wanted the white. I'm like, well, if I lived in Miami right now, I'd get the white. But since I live in Chicago, I'm going to get the black because that was just more sleek and it was obsidian black. And I put that desire in place. The money came to pay for that truck. Do you see? Because one of the things that when you're a high performer, high achiever, like I was in my very wounded masculine state, and I explained to you of what the difference between those two are tomorrow's call, is that you are unable to tap into what really makes you feel something. The whole reason why we want more of something is so it's going to make us feel something. And if we want to feel something, the having of it is going to give us that emotion. But many of the times, many of us miss out on that and we don't tap into that. Well, what if I have it? What would it feel like? I would imagine myself flying first class and what it would feel like. You know, when I teach you how to make more money, I'm not just showing you the strategies, I'm showing you how you need to get into that state of prior to, because it doesn't matter. Sally, Susie, and Sarah could go out and execute the same strategies, but Sally will get to the finish line and get that million faster by doing the work that I teach. Many people are like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, this is the part you're not doing right. It's because you haven't tapped into this and you haven't got to this state of being. And this is the issue of why so many are struggling to figure out what they're doing wrong. And, you know, T. Harv Eker wrote a book called The Millionaire Mindset. My friend Jesse that's his dad. And with Jesse and I were in a mastermind together. And would you believe the story of T. Harv? He could make money fast, but he couldn't keep it. And he couldn't keep it. He made the money really fast, but would come in and go out. Not that I want to mention his name, but Donald Trump, but he made money fast and it would go away. I mean, he was the richest billionaire and the poorest billionaire almost at the same time. People who have not worked out their belief systems that they can hold large amounts of money because they might have an abandonment wound, which we'll talk about tomorrow, or they haven't been able to, sorry, I just saw my son run outside and it made me laugh. Anyway, sorry. Um, if you haven't worked out your abandonment wound, you're going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to hold on to money because you're going to make it and it'll go away, or there'll be surprise expenses that will come up. Again, we'll talk about the emotions. We'll talk about what's in resistance tomorrow. We're going to talk about what's in your way. Why haven't you actually executed the team that you want tomorrow? I'm going to get into the real of that tomorrow. Tomorrow's my favorite day because I feel like once you know this information, then everything changes for you. Today, I really want to really just have you expand into what is possible, what is available for you. How many of you feel like you might have a limit on you and you don't really understand why? You feel limited, just out of curiosity. Limited in the wealth, limited in the money, limits. Out of curiosity, why do you think you have a limit? Hiding. Yes, I feel like I'm doing everything and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but I don't get the ROI. Working my ass off with no results. It's taking too long to get my millions per month. Yeah. You're doing really good though, Adriana. But that's a higher achiever. We won it yesterday. I haven't been able to break the limit. Okay. Do you see? I know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't believe I'm worthy of wealth. And isn't it crazy? Having a limit, two things from a limit that I've that I've that I've really Oh, this is so powerful. I think scared of you are, Stephanie, so powerful. So powerful. Absolutely. Because that version of me who has everything I want, am I going to be able to keep being that woman to sustain it and keep growing? It is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a lot of work to keep that part, but it's so worth it when it happens. And so what I'll tell you is that the shift of getting into a place of no limits, which I believe I'm in, I'm like, it's one of the things that it's like, what is the possibility of, you know, having it consistently all the time and let's keep going, 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 going. Like we're doing multiple six figures a month cash, right? And I'm like, well, I'm ready for a million. I'm ready for a million. So I have to check in with myself. Let me backtrack. I check in myself. Is there a limit to having $1 million a month? So what I would sit down and do, what does it feel like to have $1 million a month? Well, I know how to make it. And I've made it as fast as 10 months. Actually, I'm going to be doing it faster right now. And so, but my history, because we're going on, if she can, I can, is that I've made it fast. So can I make it in 30 days? What would it mean to make it in 30 days? So I would sit down and I would do calculations because that's the how. That wouldn't work. But what if I could have a systematized way of bringing in new leads every month that would meet getting, because I have different offers, right? How many people in the first offer would I need to come in to put towards that million? The second offer, the third offer. These are my core offers, not my other programs. What would it take for me to enroll these people? Well, it would take a lead generation. It would take having a system of bringing in ideal clients on repeat. It would be being able to support that amount of people coming in to onboard them and also be able to service them in a way that I feel like they would still be getting an excellent result because I don't want to just bring people into my world just to catcall them into my space. They have to be able to come in, also get that success, and then be able to, ascend them up into my higher programs. So it required me though to understand my offers. My offers had to be so clear. What was I delivering at each one? What I had to hire more team members. I have to have more team members to process this. I couldn't do this by myself. So this is scaling. When we're trying to scale to higher numbers per month, we have to have the emotional capacity to take it, the mindset to take it, but also the infrastructure in the business to scale to that next level. Is that making sense to you guys? So sometimes it's not the fact that you don't have an amazing offer, because I believe many of you probably do, but it's the ability to bring on more people to service them. So, for example, if you're still doing one to one, you're probably still exchanging time for money. Now, I teach group programs, and I believe the way I run my masterminds and my group programs is next to none. I learned from the GOAT, one of the guys that originally, started doing masterminds in this world. And I know having a group program and having a group offer is one of the ways that you can do one to many. But a lot of people don't have that instilled in their business because they're like, what would I teach them? Or how would I do this? Or I don't feel like they'll get the most effective results. These are all mindset things that you're stuck in. And plus, they're probably um, things in your business that you don't know how to do yet because you haven't created the offer and you don't know how to actually service the offer, get the results for the client, offboard them, or ascend them somewhere else. Very, very, very critical. And even if you like are, owning a state farm, you want someone to come in, a client like me who has, let's say, for example, that has high, premium cars. They're going to have bigger premiums, and they're going to have, a couple of boats. They're going to have, they're going to have a primary house. They're going to have a vacation house. How many policies is that? That's six policies right there from one client. You're looking for people who are at that level, but you have to speak to them and you have to attract them. You have to bring them into your space. When you have a client that's coming in that's got more than one, item to be under your business, you're going to be able to attract them. So, but if you're in the belief system, and we attract who we be, and believe it or not, we do this with our clients. So if you're in scarcity, you don't invest in yourself, and you're not doing the thing out there that's showing people like, yes, I love money and money's coming for me, you're not going to attract clients that are going to, hey, let me pay you. One of the things that my clients have said to me, they're like, how do you attract so many powerful women that are willing to pay you? Like, Adriana, she's on the phone right now, but she can talk, but she just joined my mastermind a little bit long ago. And, she's just like, wired all the money to me. Didn't even think twice about it. It's like, you have to be the woman. You have to be, it's a frequency. This is why coming to Chicago is so important for so many people. You get into like this frequency of money. Money is a frequency. They always say that you're the average of the five people you hang out with. So if you're around broke people or people who have a mindset not about money, you're not going to be in a frequency of a high frequency when it comes to money. I bring you into my space to bring you up to my belief systems and my frequency. And the women around the room, together we ascend. We have an ascension. It's like a consciousness shifts. And when a consciousness shifts, it's like going to if you've ever been to a Joe Dispenza meditation, or if you've ever done anything in a meditative state, the more people that are in the room, the higher level of the consciousness of that room is going to be, because you're opening up your awareness to a higher belief system of what's available to you. And when you come to Chicago, I do it with money. I do it with your money so that you can ascend up. So you don't have to spend, 6 days meditating for 12 hours. We get to that next level. When you come into my group programs, it's the same thing. Why I tell everybody, be on the calls. You're on this call. It's happening for you. Obviously it's in a smaller amount. When you're in person, it's greater, right? In person, it's like lightning speed happens, but you're still getting it. This is why you right now, I can guarantee you by the end of this 3 day, you're going to have this shift. And sometimes that shift might give you a false sense of like, I got this. I can go do it myself. But what happens is we fall back into our patterns. We fall back into our old belief systems, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. And they say it takes 21 days to break a pattern. Well, when you've got a money mindset that's been there for decades, it takes a lot longer than that. It took me a whole year to work on one belief system that was holding back my money. And you know what it was? That I could provide for me and my children, that I could be the sole provider. That it might, because when I got divorced, I was like, how am I going to do this without my ex-husband? His money paid the bills. My money was the fun money to buy the Rolexes, to go on trips. Because I wasn't conditioned to believe that I could support, I couldn't support. And the moment that I cleared that belief, guess what? I wasn't losing my house anymore. Well, not that I was losing my house, but I thought I was going to lose my house because it was 2020 and things were going sideways. If you guys didn't know, I'd left law. I came into the online space before it went sideways because I had the calling to do it. And really fun little quick story about my business, and I'll tell you, is that I started out in 2020. Like I'd done a couple programs, like I sold a couple programs in 18, 20, 19. I was still practicing law though. In 2020 said I was going all in. That was it. This is it. And I don't know what made me say that year, but I relaunched a program in January that I had sold called Hotline to the Universe because I was teaching people how to manifest because I really figured it out. And meanwhile, everybody was having all these life changes because I was teaching them the emotional stuff. Because I'm like, you cannot manifest anything at lightning speed or create if you don't have your emotions. Erica was in that program, and you can't manifest anything. You cannot create your reality if you're not using your emotions. And this is the thing that most of my clients have a problem with because they haven't tapped into their feminine and their emotions. This is why emotional work is so important in my world. And I get you to be an emotional creator. So I was like, all these women were like, oh my God, my life has totally changed. I'm like, what the hell? I was just teaching them how to manifest. I thought this is how you do it. Because I saw that when I cleared an emotion, I cleared a belief, it made room to be in alignment, that there was no resistance, that the thing could just fall in my lap. And so I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this. I was hungry for it. It was like an addictive process. I'm like, oh, you have this belief? Let's work on it because I know this is in the way. So when you get into that system, it changes everything. It's the healing work and it's the mindset work. You got to do both. Emotions. And I believe why I'm different than everybody else out there is because people are only teaching mindset, which I do teach, but you cannot trump your mind when your emotions and your body and your subconscious, which is led by your emotions, is telling you another thing. So anyways, I launched this program. I made about $4,500 in the month. And I was like, all right, this was good. At least I made the money. Next month, I'm like, we got to make more money than this. I created a 90-day program. And it was to get your purpose, to teach you about your purpose, work on your money mindset, and no, not your money, work on abundance, thinking in abundance, prosperity, and taking action. There was something about it in there, I think. I had about 9 women that signed up for it, 9 or 10 women. I sold it for $3,500. Actually, no, I sold it for $3,000. And I said, for $3,500, you can get one call a month with me, um, VIP. Well, everybody signed up for it. I gave everybody different payment plans, which I'll never do ever again. Some went past the extent of the program. Everybody paid because I knew these women for some time. They were in my world. And I signed on a private client and I made $51,000 in 1 month. I'd stumbled on this woman online. And at the time where I was very elementary in beginning, she was perfect for me. I watched one of her free programs and it helped me make some more money. So I took all the money I made and I invested in her and her programs. And I joined one of her masterminds. And to this day, out of the 25 people that joined that, I am the only standing person that still has a thriving business and has made millions. But at the time when that program was going on, everybody was making money and I wasn't yet. And I was like, what's going on? What's happening here? Why am I not making this money yet? Like, and I realized that I really needed to work on a couple of things. And one was it with my feminine energy. But it was also I had done so much emotional mastery work. I hadn't done the feminine part to this extent. So I was watching everybody make all this money and I was getting impatient, but then I said, just relax. People were getting money from the government right, left, and center. And this was April. May rolls around, the mastermind's winding down. June, I launched a 5-day program and I launched a program called Accessing the Quantum through Emotional Self Mastery during this 5-day program. I made $301,000 in this month. And I'll tell you something. Ashanti, the singer, you know Ashanti Douglas, the singer? She joined that program that month too. And I don't know if Brittany's on there, but she was on when Shanti was on there. And I remember she wanted to be a private client of mine. She would text me all the time saying she wanted to be with Nelly. And guess what? She's with Nelly now. So it all happens. And I'm telling you, and by the way, like celebrities, they don't like to pay for shit. Um, yes, I still have the screenshots. Erica was there the time when Ashanti was in there. And it was one of the things that I attracted Grammy Award winners into my program. I attracted so many people. I had a $50,000 cash day. I'd signed up so many private clients that month. I made $300,000. I'm telling you, this emotional work is not something that you need to overlook. The ability to create that reality was, and you know what I did, Sabrina? I started it on Thursday it is crazy. On a Thursday, I said, "Hey, I'm doing a free class." I was on the internet promoting it. All I did, my team member at the time made a graphic for me. I could try and dig it up and show you guys. We're doing a 5-day event, and I was going to teach you my AIM process. And my AIM process was my manifesting process. And each day, and people don't sit for 5 days anymore, but sometimes they do. But each day I taught something in the program and I had a system. And, and Ashanti invited people into the group too. We had maybe like 400 or 500 people sign up by Monday from Thursday. I went live on my Facebook group. I went live on my personal page, went live on Instagram, and we had a small email list at the time and we were emailing them. And I did whatever it took to bring the people in because I was all in. But my energy was attracting these people. And again, 2020 times were a little different, right? June, everybody was home and they were online. So it was a little different. I had a little bit of an edge there. What I'm trying to say to you is that I had a program. I made $50,000. 50 people bought because at the time I only sold Access and Quantum for $1,000. Now it's $2,222 to buy that program because it's proven it's worth 10 times over. But I had all these people and I taught it live. I sold the program before I even created it. And I've probably made over $500,000 in that one program. It's still making money to this day. And the way I did my first year of business is I created programs every month to sell. And I would have people come in, and now I have a data bank of $60,000 worth of programs. If you try to go through them, if you're my mastermind and you try to go through those programs, it's a lot, but it's there for you. It's there for you to have whatever you want. Now, the reason why I share this with you is because I want you to see that you might see my highlight reel now of how I'm running my business and that I have so many people in my programs and that I'm making millions of dollars, but it started from there. But you know why I was so successful is because of the emotional mastery work, is because I was primed and ready to go execute a strategy. Because when you go to try and do a strategy from a place of desperation, scarcity, or this has to work energy, or you're not in the right energy, the the chances of that strategy being highly successful and having the ROI you want is going to be slim to none, because you're going to be kind of like pressure, 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 pressure. I got to make this work. I got to make this work. I got to make this work. And then more effort, not necessarily is how things are done. So what I teach is the being state. I teach you need to become that wealthy, successful version of yourself, emotionally mastered, being in a state of your feminine that you can go do anything. And I teach you how to walk through the process that I did. The things that led me were my desires. I had a desire to create this life that I have now. And every day, I woke up on Friday and I was like, is it Friday? I was like, what day is it? Am I have to work today? Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's Friday. I love my life. I'm so grateful for my life. I'm a guest on a podcast today and I'm going to Kohler Spa afterwards to spend 6 hours at the spa. And this is the life that I created for myself. It was $800 to go to the spa that day, but it was still, I knew that this is the life that I wanted to create for myself. And I woke up with so much gratitude, being so grateful. Every single morning I get into gratitude about what I've created. And even recording my audiobook, I'm like, I had this on my 7 streams of income that I was going to create and my impact in the world. I wrote it in 2017. I'm going to find the journaling that I used to do every single day. I was going to have 7 streams of income, and the book was going to be one of them. And if you don't have a book, you should get a book, because a book will validate you and give you authority in the world like nothing else. But this book, I paid $60,000 to help someone create this book with me, but I got the money to go do the things to create the book. I'm not saying you need to do that, but I had a vision when I had no money. I had a vision of how the streams of income would come in. We have, automated systems at bringing in money every month. And we just hired this badass guru guy that's going to be putting us into like bigger systems so I can make money in my sleep, which I do every single day. One of my mantras is I make money every day. So being able to, create strong opt-ins, create places for people to come into your world, grow your email list, have marketing set up. All of that is very essential to running your business. I'm not going to sit here and say, we're going to go and just clap, 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 and just like, oh, easy peasy, squeezy, cheesy, or lemon, whatever it is, like it's going to be so amazing. No. But in order for a system to be highly successful, you are the system setter. You decide how that system will work. You are the person that has to be in that state of. And that comes from me getting you from the lifestyle. Why do you want it? And how are we going to create it? And then when you start having these shifts, what happens is that you are now going to be creating programs that you want to do. I had a client, many of them actually, but this one in particular, she used to be a therapist, because at one point in time, I was attracting so many licensed therapists to my world. Many of them exchanged time for money. And I was attracting lawyers to a lot of them, and we bill per hour. So we're exchanging time for money. These aren't scalable ways to make money, right? Because you have to do an hour to receive the money, right? And so when she came into my world, she was so burnt out. And she's like, I don't have any clients. I don't have any clients. I said, okay, well, what's happening here? I said, do you want clients? Oh yeah, I want clients. Okay, show me on your schedule where you have availability for clients. Well, I have this and this and this. And I said, okay, let's start carving out space in your calendar. You have to first energetically make the space to receive these clients. But when we really got down to it, she was so burnt out from being a therapist, and she had a husband, so she had a backup plan. He had a job, so she didn't have this urgency anymore in her practice to work, because she was taking this time off, and she couldn't get around what it would feel like to charge people for coaching, because as a therapist, she was charging maybe $135 an hour. And so what happened to her is that she couldn't exchange this time. So I had to sit there and break down all her beliefs, and they were rooted in money, because she was a people pleaser. And they're one of the most manipulated people out there, but they live in such scarcity. People pleasing and scarcity go hand in hand. Perfectionism and scarcity go hand in hand. They're like this. I'm a therapist and a people pleaser. Well, welcome to my world, honey. I can help you. And so one of the things that we had to really break was her over delivering of her time, undercharging of what she was doing, and then reprogramming her to create a coaching program where she could bring a group of clients through a process as opposed to just one on one, because you cannot scale that. Even though most of the therapists have come to my world, they have increased, because I'm like, raise your pricing. Because they're completely packed up. Their whole schedules are packed. They're like, I have a booked schedule. I'm like, increase your pricing. I feel sorry for the people they can't pay. So you're saying your 20 years of experience, you're still going to have a bleeding heart for the people who can't pay. Create a podcast and give them free information. That's what I do. People listen to my podcast and read my book and tell me and message me I made $50,000 this month, the highest money I've ever made every month, because they listen to my book and podcast. I've heard it 3 times now. So I know that I'm giving my free stuff out there. But if you want to take that 50K and go make it 100K and come into my world, I'm going to be able to show you how to make that. But I give the free information out there. The thing is, you cannot keep catering to people who have no money, no money. And because you have the mindset of that, that's why the business is not having the ROI and not having the increase in wealth, right? So there's so much more money to be made. They're printing this money right now. Hold your hand open. I want it. Like, give me the money. It's right here for us. But if you're here holding on to clients that can't pay, you've got belief systems that are telling you it's impossible. You are dealing with the struggle. You're not structuring your business correctly. You don't have the opt-ins out there. You're not making money in your sleep. You don't have 7 streams of income. Well, look what's happening. Where's the money going to get in and stay in? Sometimes people run their business like a colander, which I'll talk about tomorrow, where they're just pouring into everything and then it's just going out. And we're going to talk about the money leaks. When you've got a bucket and you've got money leaks in your business, you're like, I'm working so hard, but I can't see the result of it. Some of the State Farm ladies make $1 million a year, but they're only taking home $350,000. I'm like, I don't know how the hell you're surviving on that, especially if you have money. I mean, I know that sounds, what's the word? Entitled. I don't know if that's the word. I created it. I'm a single mom and a minority. I did that shit. I can tell you, I love money and I'm going to make more of it. And nobody made this money for me except me. So you have to own that ability to be unapologetically rich and get over it. So limits. I forgot to talk about this earlier. I got sidetracked. Limits. The reason why you live in your limits, and tomorrow I'm going to get into this deeper, is because they're self-imposed. You've decided that money has to come in increments because this is part of the wounded masculine. Because you're thinking, I've got to make 10K a month. Then after I've done that for a while, then I'm going to go to 20K a month. After I've done that for a while, then I'm going to 30K a month. After I've done that for a while, I'm going to 40K a month. After I've done that for a while, I'm going to go to 50. I went from $4,500 to $7,500, I think, to $50,000 to $300,000. Actually, no, 50, not 50. It was 15 to $300,000. You're going to tell me that if I sat and thought about limits, I would have made $300,000 that month? But your self-imposed limits are creating the cap and it's supporting the scarcity that you've got going on. So I like to lift that. And the other part of the limits is people have told you, either it was from society or from your parents, that you can't do it. And guess what? You believe them. But they're all from us. We get to raise those limits. And successful women, they're the worst. They're the worst. We create our own limits because we don't feel that it's possible to go beyond. Because how is it going to work? I need to know the how. I need to know the when. I need to know exactly how it's supposed to be done. Because if I don't know how, then I don't feel the possibility of it. Where I teach you, you hold this faith and you have this strong belief system that is working. Guess what? The faith will kick in and it will work. And they're like, what? What are you trying to teach me? To believe in it before it works? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Because until you can believe in the possibility of anything happening for you, you will always have a limit on you. because you're always going to look for the structured way of exactly how the money has to be made. I didn't know how I was going to get that G Wagon. I didn't know where the money was going to come from. I paid cash for it because I didn't have the limit. I don't live in limits. Limits are for people who are afraid of their own future. Limits are afraid of people who are still proving themselves. Proving and approval energy is scarcity. I used to be that woman when I was a lawyer. I was proving to everybody, look at me, I'm so successful. Look how much money I have. Look at all the rings I have. Look at the Louis Vuittons I had. Look at the trips we're taking. All of that was in the proving energy. Look at my accolades. Look at all the success I have. I'm successful. And really, what it comes down to was that I was using my achievements to show my worthiness of who I was. And look at me, validate me, validate me, validate me, because I didn't do this work that I'm doing now. This last 11 years of doing this inner work, all those things that I have, the money in my bank account, they don't make me feel rich. I feel rich. I'm in my wealthy woman era. I'm in this state now. All of those things are just added bonuses I get to have right now, but they're not, I don't need someone to look at my Cartier and be like, oh, she's rich, or look at her, how successful she is. I look at my Cartier and go, I'm rich. I'm successful. I'm so wealthy because it makes me feel something. And when I feel wealthy, guess what? The universe brings more wealth to me. So it's a me thing. It's a me thing. It's no longer seeking validation. That's why my limits are raised. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down today? I feel like I've been talking a lot. Let's take a pause. What's some ahas you guys have had today? Let's share.
Can I just say real quick, Shamina, I wanted to say thank you for everything. In 2021, your money mastery changed my mindset about money. I make money in my sleep. I don't worry about money anymore. And I saw this today and I jumped on. I knew I have an interview at 1:30 and I was staying till the last minute, but I wanted to say you are such a blessing. You do make people remove the blockages beyond mindset. And I took the braces off my brains and I have not flown less than first class since a conversation you had with me that you probably don't even remember because I know I deserve it. I know I'm worthy. And I thank you for that.
Oh, oh, Brenda, I love you. We're going to hug you right now. Oh, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for that. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, watch the replay. I hope you're going to be here tomorrow and the next day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will see you then. Thank you for sharing that. Congratulations. I'm celebrating you because you do deserve it. You get to have it just because you just get to want it. And that's it. I love that. Oh my gosh, celebrating you so much. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Oh, see, see, a woman who knows she can reclaim her power. It's not just men that get to live this life. When I am in first class, I'm one of the few women that are in there. I want to see more of us in there. I want to see more of us in the places where we are leaders. I want to see more of us owning jets. It's not just men. The thing is, the men aren't raising children. They're not doing all the other things that we have to do. But if you learn to work smarter and not harder, you can create this wealth. My friend Elena Cardone, I it's it's so amazing. If you haven't seen my interview with her, you should go watch it. But one of the things, she had me on her podcast not too long ago, and the thing went viral on the internet. We're at $1.2 million. We're at 1.2 million views on her being on her page. And I'll tell you why that went so wild is because there's a realness that comes when you learn to be your most authentic self. When you are no longer having things hold you back, there's no shame for more wealth. There's no there's ability to receive help. And again, this is a big conversation we'll have tomorrow. But one of the things that I watched her do in real time was delegate and receive support. And I'll tell you, in it was like 3 minutes. She had already said, she said, "Hey, do you want to be on the podcast?" And she had scheduled it with her, team, her team, Danny, and I had my team come in. It was all said and done within minutes. And the way that I saw her do that, it showed me that this woman, money loves speed. And in order to be a billionaire, you've got to understand that you have to do things at a faster state. So if your subconscious is creating resistance because you're having an old belief come up, or you're questioning things, or you're overanalyzing things, this woman doesn't stop to think the how. She just knows it's done. And she's just like, I'm going to get it done. And she starts delegating. And if mistakes happen, can guess what? She just keeps going because it's like, it's just data. I don't look at things as being failure. I look at things as like, I'm just figuring it out until it works, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. And that's the difference between women who live with limits and women who live without limits, because I'm not limited. I know that this is thing, it's going to work. That's it. I have a saying called it's happening because this is how I hold my faith. And so one of the things that Elena and I talked about was like manifesting Grant and manifesting the life. She's the one, she was in her feminine because this is a masculine and feminine relationship. She's the one that went to Grant and held the vision because the feminine holds the vision. And if you're not able to tap into your feminine is being, you're not able to go bigger, limitless. And this is what I teach you. So she said, Grant, let's be billionaires. That was it. She held the vision. His masculine went and executed it. And as we're talking about a sole person as opposed to a partnered, your vision has to go out there and lead. And then when we do things from a healthy masculine way to execute, then our systems, our strategies can be extraordinary. You'll learn to really trust that money's always there. Brenda was one of the first people who said, I'm not worried about money anymore because she took one of my programs to help fix that. And let me tell you, if you are still worried about money, money will have control over you. You will not have control over it. And we as women are the ones that are receiving the wealth. I believe money is masculine because we look to it for protection, to provide for us, to take care of us, to basically make us safe, right? Would you all agree? More money you have, the safer you feel. Less money, you feel unsafe. Now, the way we receive it is in our feminine. So you are out there chasing money, hustling. Where is it? I can't see it. I can't find it where it's at. You're in your masculine. Now, if you create programs and you create your offers and you're running your brick and mortar business, knowing that the clients are going to come through the door, it's being able to trust that you've done everything that you needed to do and that these people are going to come to your world. But you have to, it's energy. You've got to understand it's an energetic frequency to be in. And the things that cloud you are going to affect that from happening. If you don't believe it's going to work, guess what? It's not going to work. What did Maria just say? I just realized I'm not worried about money, but that I haven't got enough ideas, knowledge, or to create offers and programs. Aha, Maria, there we go. That's why you need to get into Wealthy CEO, Maria. Um, and so when we're in there, I'm going to teach you how to do, the creation of the programs and the offers and the marketing. Now, I basically lay out how I made $1 million in the Wealthy CEO. I walk you through my steps of how I run my business. I teach you everything about it. And Olga, I don't know if she's on today. Olga and a lot of the other girls, they're having $30,000 months just from being in there, and they had no money to begin with. I hope Olga's traveling, right? I really wish we could have got her testimonial. But team, can you put her video inside the group so that people can watch those testimonials from the last round? That would be really, really good. Because when Olga came to work with me, she had one client that was paying her $2,000 a month. And she took that money and she invested into one of our programs, the Wealthy CEO. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm not doing anything. This business is not working. Well, she was in stuck mode. She wasn't having her ROI wasn't working. Nothing was working in her business because she was off. And this woman came in and did everything I told her to do. Do you know she is having 30K months on repeat? She just signed another client up for 29,000. She's raised her prices. So now she's not charging bare minimum anymore. I've taught her now how to collect money, how to really, invoice her clients because it's a really big thing, how to do the collection with money. We worked on her offer. Now she just hired 2 team members to come in so that now she can scale her business and she's just killing the game right now. And this was all within less than 6 months, this in 5 months. And so you can change and start making more money, but you have to do the things, right? Follow the system and it works. And, she goes, she'll tell you, do exactly what Shamina says to do because it works. So she's now killing the game. And so I said to her, "What would you have been if you didn't join my program?" And she said, "Yeah, I'd still be stuck." And there's a lot of emotional work to do because it's stuff that she was thinking about. And it wasn't even, it was things about her that were not even related to her business, really. that were affecting her business. So when we get to that route and then I can look at your business, then I can start showing you like, hey, this is how you actually make the money. This is how you bring the clients in. This is how you do your marketing. This is how you do your branding. This is how you get things done, right? I digress. Anyway, I asked a question earlier, and I'm going to go look at the comments. What you guys, what your big thing is that you said to stop holding on to clients who can't pay. I drop my prices because I think people can't afford me. But I realize now that I must open myself up to receive abundance, not hold on to old belief systems that can keep me in lack, that people can't afford me. Right. And Christina, when you come work in my world, this is one thing we work on immediately is your pricing. This is something that we get to because this is a conditioning and a programming that you have that's not going to go away overnight. Because although you might sit there and go, I want to charge more, what happens is you won't believe it. And until you can believe what you are, and people charge based on their worth as opposed to based on, you know, what the value of the program is. And it's such a differentiation. This is why I teach high ticket. My programs go all the way up to $250,000. So this is like, for, to working with me privately. And it's different, and when you get a chance to come in here for $47 or whatever it is to get a little bit of what I'm teaching you, this is just an intro because I don't like doing things for free anymore because I like the exchange of money. When you come into my world, you will get an ROI from what it is that you're learning. Your business will start growing and you'll start seeing places that you've actually been, limited in your pricing, your charging, your receiving. Even some people have one program that they're giving and they're offering it for like, such a limited amount and they could break that up into 4 or 5 different programs and have different people coming in. So, um, yeah, Christina, you need to book a call and get into our program. Um, Takeaway, Lisa. Oh, Lisa's on. I didn't see her. Where is she? I missed her. Takeaway. I'm already this 7-figure woman. I feel it, even though my bank account doesn't reflect it yet. By the way, I just got an unexpected raise via email while on this call. Yay, Lisa. Oh my God, congratulations. She's in one of our programs too. Um, my breakthrough today, she's in our Millionaire Mindset program, which is our 6-month program. And it's the first program that you need to enter, if you are not, if you're needing to really work on your money mindset and you're really working on, pricing in your business, that's a program to get into. My breakthrough today, I'm scared to paint because I don't want to be a starving artist. I don't trust I can make lots of money by creating art. So what I would do, Isabella, for you is I would start creating the art without the intention of having to make money with it. Just let your creativity flow. Let yourself just enjoy this ability to paint and to feel into what it feels like to be in that feminine, because your painting is a very creative feminine flow. It will open up more wealth. So one of my clients is in my mastermind. I don't know if we're going to get to hear from Christina. Are we hearing from Christina, Sash? I don't know if she's coming on. So when Christina joined my world, she she was making about $100,000 a month, and we'll drop her testimonial in the group too. But she wasn't getting any of the money back. She was making $100,000 but still strapped and not making any money. And like, to me, if you're making $100,000 a month, you should not be strapped with money. There's something going wrong. So what was happening is she was creating the leak for the money to come in and go out again. So they weren't having proper revenue coming in because she had so many expenses. And one of the things that I like to do is run a very lean business. I like running a lean. My team and my kids actually, but my kids know mom is always like, where it is things are, but my team knows I have a system in my brain of how I float their salaries per month, how I create, how I bring money in, what do we actually invest in? Because everything has to be in an aligned state. Like you don't see me spending $6,000 a month on billboards because my ideal client's not driving on the highway or looking at things. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not where, or spending money to go on, you know, that guy's podcast. I run my business in a very lean way. Everything is very intentional on how we do things. Every money spent, there has to be an ROI for it and it's coming in, right? I digress a little bit. But what I'm saying is my client Christina came in and $100,000 a month she was making. And she runs a ranch. They were doing very conscious creation of organic meats. And they're looking for investors and she's just killing the game in that way, like looking for investors. Well, when she came in, she was stuck and she used to be a dancer, wasn't dancing anymore. And as we started working with her and she was able to work through some things, one of the things that she found is she'd been living a story over and over again, and it was a couple of stories. Once I was able to give her that breakthrough and she started implementing things that we were teaching her and she was doing the things I told her to do, she went and had a business meeting and she was able to secure a contract for $4.8 million. It was $200,000 a month for 2 years. And prior to that, she had secured a client for $400,000. And that was within less than 2 months of working with me. So had she not come to work with me, she'd still be struggling every single month at $100,000, not having money come in and out. But now $5 million later, I mean, it would have cost her $5 million had she not come to work with me. Ask yourself right now, what is it costing you that you are not making those moves to get yourself to the next level? Like, how much longer are you going to do that, right? How much longer are you going to keep stuck on where you are? And I know sometimes making an investment, you're so scared because you're like, I don't know if this is going to come back to me, but I have a system. And if you work this system, it works, like it really does work. It's not for people who want to have me push them around and, tell them what to do. It's for a woman who's like me, who is coachable and says, give me the instructions. I'm going to follow them. Like tell me, like when I say push, like they're people that you have to push like a donkey over the finish line, right? Pull, 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 pull. I want someone who I can keep accountable. And did she have a slip sometimes? And she came around. Yep. And that's why mentorship's there. And now I think they just closed another $7 million. These are big numbers. She's a baller. And the reason why, and Adriana, she's still on. Oh, she's on her phone. I would love you guys to hear from her really quickly. Can you come on today? Wait, hold on. Sasha, she's speaking today? Is she speaking this week or no? I would love you guys to hear from Adriana right now. But you said to stop holding on to clients who can't pay. Yep. Okay. So Adriana, come on and
Yeah.
Adriana, can you talk? So thanks for sharing, Adriana. I appreciate that, honey. So we're wrapping up. We're coming up to the end of day one. And what I want you guys to really do for your homework today, and again, I said this in this way earlier, is to really create what that life looks like for you and that vision. And when you start doing the work with me, I will guarantee you that vision changes. It gets bigger and more limitless because what you thought you wanted, just like Adriana when she came in, she thought it was just, to be a little bit more this and that. And now she's like, oh, I want everything. Like, I mean, she always wanted everything before, but she's like, now I really want everything. Like there's the more everything after the everything, and give me it all. And so I want you to really feel into what would a limitless you and a woman who was able to obtain the wealth that she really wanted, what kind of life would she, yeah, because well, all of us wanted it yesterday. So I mean, that's just the high achiever, high performers. We want it done now. I'm still that way, and so I'm learning to have the faith. And the more that I can believe that it comes, the faster it comes to me. So my patient gets channeled in a different way. Like I'm like, well, I know it's on its way for me. So don't worry, don't get anxious looking for it. It's coming. So that's how I deal with my patients. I do, Adriana, we'll talk about more in the mastermind call and I can help you with that. But because we always want everything done now. So go look at the vision. And then I want you to go look at your offers. And I want you to look at how do you work on your vision? Well, it's something that I would sit down and just, really, really I wouldn't put a you could put a price next to it, but I mean it's up to you. But what I would do is I would really put down what does it look like if you had endless amounts of money and you had basically like unlimited wealth. What would it look like for you? And I would go as big as you can into creating it. Like how would you be running your business? What would your business look like? What would your life look like? How would you be living? You want to start with that because if you don't start with that, then you don't know exactly why you want to make more money in your business. Then I would go look at your offers. I would go look at how your deliverables are. And if you want to make, let's say, $83,000 a month, look at your offers and see, is that a possibility for you to make that right now with what you're currently offering? If you want to make a million, if it's only half a million, okay, look at half a million of what you want to do. I say a million because I feel like everybody can be a millionaire. I feel like that's a billable for us all. Adriana, she's almost at half a million already, and that's that they've literally doubled, if not tripled, her income, and by doing this work. So think about where you are and where do you want to go, and how big of a dream do you want? How do you want your spouse to show up for you? What kind of relationships do you want? what kind of mother do you want to be? What kind of practitioner do you want to be? How many clients a week do you want to serve? How many people do you want to impact? Really go through that, okay? And do you have the capacity to scale your business up there? Do you have the support team? Do you have the people that are there to support you? Are you receiving support? We'll talk about those things tomorrow, but look through that. And then what I would do is go make an offer. Go put an offer out there. Either do it on your if you have a brick and mortar, put an offer out to your email list. If you have an online business, go onto your online space, go into your stories, pick up your phone and be like, "Hey, I just made some money right now. I love it. I made money since I've been sitting here. I love it." I would just say, you know, put it up there and be like, "Hi, I've got blah 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 going on. Click the link below and join us." Or click or send me a message. Here's what I have. Here's how I can help you. Put the offer out there. You have to make offers every day. You have to be selling every day in your business. You have to have a system and how you're selling, how you're offering, how you're creating wealth every day in your business. It has to be. The Gap doesn't think twice about sending us emails nonstop, right? The big corporations are sending emails all the time because they know that that's how they're making money. They're getting you into the store, they're getting you online to watch their stuff. You have to get over any thoughts about I'm selling too much or I'm emailing too much or I'm doing too much. You have to get into the place of being fully seen, fully present and showing up. And if that's something that you have a problem with, I can guarantee you that's what's probably holding you back and you're not having that ROI. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about it's my favorite day because I'm going to talk about what's in resistance, how we can get through it. What is really holding you back because from having this dream life that you want. So this wraps up to day one. Um, just a temperature check. How did you guys like today? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Like, just yes, was this good? This is a good use of time. Are you happy? Do you want more? Good, good. And if you feel like you guys want to get started and you're curious about my programs right now, team, can you drop the link below? Why don't you just go ahead and book a call and get on a call? You're probably going to be with me or my team member, and we can talk about how you can take and not have to wait to get results. You can get results now. You can get like results like Adriana. You can start getting these results right away because it's available for you. So, team, can you drop the link to book a call? And we can talk about what program might be best for you to move forward on your journey. And you can message Brett on my team, Shannon on my team, or Sash on my team if you have any questions. Maybe one of them have already been speaking to you and where to get started. So, tomorrow is day 2. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I'm so glad that you got some value out of this. Current clients that are on here, did you get value out of it too? Yeah, and these people already paid me and they're here on my stuff. So let me show you that. That's just this, these are people in my mastermind, my millionaire, my call because I put quality content out there. I want you to win. I'm here for you. And so this is why I'm saying like, hey, jump in, ask yourself, what is it costing you right now not to make this next move? What is it costing you not to move forward into where you like this next 6 months of 2024 could be your most extraordinary, highest income months. And they could be the best months that you've ever had in your life and business because you took this leap to invest in yourself. So ask that when you're journaling today, ask yourself, what is it costing you right now that you are not where you want to be? How much money and time, and what is it costing you? Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, let me take a picture. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to take a picture. Team, can you take a picture next time for me? Because I forget with all the people on here so I can put it in my group. And if you guys can, why don't you tag me on social media? And if you haven't subscribed to our podcast yet, I don't know why, because that's silly, because you should be. And if you haven't bought my book yet, you should do that already. And let me weigh this over here. There we go. Oopsie daisy. Smile. Awesome. I'll see you guys for day 2 and invite anybody else that you want to join this program. Go ahead. Okay. Bye bye.